Hey y'all, it's the Skin Doctor here. So today's client, this is her first facial ever. She's never had a facial before, so it's always an honor whenever I can give someone their first facial. So here we're just going to add a little water to her face, to her skin, so that way we're not occluding the face. We're not occluding the skin, as you know, which can lead to breakouts and congestion, especially for darker Fitzpatricks. You'll notice also throughout this video that my client is talking and laughing, because in my treatment room, honestly, we have a good time. It doesn't matter who you are, we're gonna always have a good time. Whether you want a silent treatment or you want to communicate throughout the treatment. I'm just off to the side right now preparing the first cleanse, which you'll see here now. It's going to be the Skin Scripts Green Tea Gentle Cleanser. I use this for a first cleanse. It's going to help remove the day, any dirt, debris, oils. This one's a foaming cleanser too, by the way. This one's really good for all skin types, whether you're oily, dry, normal combination. It doesn't necessarily strip the pH balance from the skin. I'm just going to massage that in. I personally like to use massage techniques throughout the entire facial, no matter what product I'm using, just because I feel like it helps deepen the relaxation. So you'll notice that too throughout my facials. I do massage techniques leading up into the actual massage part, which is where it gets really intimate at that part. You'll see. So yeah, just getting under her nose, getting that top lip, above the top lip. Okay, so that first cleanse lasted about anywhere from a minute to 2 minutes. The ideal cleansing portion of a facial is anywhere from about 2 to 3 minutes, 5 minutes if you just want to be really extra, kind of like me. Sometimes I actually get caught up in the conversation and forget that I'm still on the cleansing portion. But the reason why you want that first and second cleanse to be that long, 3 to 5 minutes, is because you want to give those products time to actually do their job, especially if you're using a cleanser that has any AHAs or BHAs in it, like salicylic acid cleanser or mandelic cleansers. Okay, we're wiping away that first product. And then the steam comes on. I personally don't like to steam throughout the entire facial, just because I feel like it can turn into it can kind of dry out the skin. I feel like that's just my personal take on it. There are some estheticians that use steam throughout their entire facial, and that's fine. There's really no right or wrong way just eventually everyone has their preferences. There are even some estheticians that don't use steam at all. Okay, so I'm prepping the second cleanser. And so here we're just going to use the glycolic cleanser. By Skin Script. This cleanser is really good for hyperpigmentation and also helping with adding hydration to the skin too, helping the skin release its natural hydrating properties. Sometimes the skin will hold on to any little bit of water that it can get its hands on, especially if you've been in like a drying situation. She does have a little bit of hyperpigmentation, mostly around her jaw and her forehead area from having acne breakouts. She's really enjoying this facial, you can already kind of tell. And actually there was one more cleanser that I actually mixed with the glycolic. It was the pomegranate, which is also good for dry skin, just because she has some dry areas too. And so now here I am just wiping away that second cleanser, well, both of those second cleansers. The reason why I mixed the two cleansers for her second cleanse is because she did have some dry spots, some dry areas in her face and her skin, where she was experiencing flaking and everything. So I didn't want to strip her skin by using two foaming cleansers back to back. So I just added a little bit of the pomegranate, which is more of a milk cleanser. I love that she had on her t-shirt. I absolutely love her. Like, her music is amazing, and I can really say that I appreciate her openness now, because before she wasn't really I'm not mainstream, but she was very introverted, and I feel like now she's starting to show like herself a lot more, which I can appreciate, especially as a fan. Okay, so now here I'm just prepping her skin for microdermabrasion using an alcohol wipe. I just want to make sure that I dry her skin out as much as I can in preparation for it. Some of you may have the question of, why did I want her skin to release its natural water properties, and why did I use a more of a moisturizing hydrating cleanser? in the second cleanse and then turn around and strip her skin. The reason why is because I knew that I would be stripping her skin, and so you don't want to overly dry out the skin. Like if she was already, because she's already experiencing flakiness and everything, I want it to be like, we don't want to cause damage to the skin, if that makes any sense. Because microdermabrasion, it can be really stripping, and like it's stripping and drying out like everything. It's definitely an advanced modality when it comes to exfoliating mechanically. Okay, so this is when I do the first pass to check to see if she can actually handle the amount of section being used. She said that she was okay with it, so I'm just going to continue to move forward. Again, you may have seen different estheticians or other people using at-home microdermabrasion machines. There are several different ways to skin a cat. This is my method, the way that I do. I like my technique. It works for me and it works for my clients. You can see the little ash lines that it creates. So I'm using the diamond tip. There are two different types of microdermabrasion. There's the diamond tip, and then there's also the crystal machine. We don't use crystals at the spa just because the crystals can sometimes get all over the place. They're also micro crystals, so the microparticles are in the air. So you have inhalation issues, and then it can possibly go into a client's eye. So here we just use the diamond tip machine. The diamond tip, it's a horrible analogy, but the analogy that I was taught was, it's like sandpaper going against your skin, right? A horrible analogy, but that's the truth of it. The diamond tip it looks like little crystals when you look at it, and so it's scraping the skin to help loosen up the dead skin cells, dirt, and debris, and then the suction portion is going to suck up everything that's being scraped off, and then it all ends up on this little filter that's inside. So I'm just making sure that I hold her skin taut while I'm doing the dragging and the removing part. Sometimes I can get stuck, and so I end up having to like work in sections on the face, just because some people have like chipmunk cheeks. That's what I like to call it. It's really cute. If you are an esthetician, don't be afraid to move your client where you need them. Okay, they're there for this service, and so they expect you to do whatever is necessary, obviously within reason. Like, don't hurt them. But if you need to move around or move them, then don't be afraid to move them around. I like to say I give like hands-on treatments. You want me to get the job done, and I need you to do certain things, like move your head. So whenever I do microderm, I like to go all the way down to like the neck area as well. So I have her extend her neck, as you can see here. We're gonna get that jawline, and then we're gonna make our way to the under chin area, like under the face, if that makes sense. And the reason why is because, like, no, you can't really see it. Like, it's very hard for people to see that area, but you also don't want to create a line of demarcation where you can see where, okay, someone's skin is being taken care of here, but not necessarily there. Really, your skincare routine should go all the way down to your décolleté. But I have some clients who are not comfortable with getting undressed, and that's fine. regardless of a gown. They prefer to keep their shirts on, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so right now I'm off to the side switching out the tips for the diamond tip microdermabrasion machine. I'm switching to the smaller tip, which is used for the eye area and the nose area. It's meant to be able to get into those small crevices, and it's meant for those for the areas where your skin is a lot thinner, like around the eye. But if you notice the nose, we want to get into that curvature a lot more, and so the smaller tip is going to help us be able to get in there. Okay, so I'm going to ask her how it feels first. She likes it. We're going to keep going. We're going to do the eyebrow, under the eyebrow, and then we're going to start going under the eye. So you see how thin that skin is? Like whenever I drag it across, that's why you want to use a lower suction as well as a smaller tip. So that way we don't tear that skin. It's very fragile. Okay, we're gonna get the bridge of her nose and then work our way down that little crevice right there. And we're gonna do the other side. And not everyone's nose is created equally, so sometimes I have to hold the nose a certain way or do the gliding motion a certain way. It just really depends on the person's nose. Okay, so we're all done with this machine now. We're done exfoliating her. So I'm just off to the side putting it away. So the light just came on. We're gonna get ready to start doing extractions on her. There shouldn't be a whole lot of congestion that comes out. It really kind of depends on the person too, out of her nose. But we're starting off on her forehead, where we're gonna do some extractions on some of the comedones that she has. Hers are really like underneath the skin, not necessarily at surface level. So those would be considered whiteheads, not blackheads. So extractions are very uncomfortable. I don't care what you do. Like, I used to think that adding water would help, but really all it did was just help me be able to like glide along the skin and not necessarily like cause a lot of traction from the skin. But I no longer use water. Now I just go in dry, and I'm just, honestly, if it doesn't come out after a couple of pushes, I'm gonna move on, because I'm not here to cause trauma to your skin. If it's not ready to come out, it's not ready to come out, especially after we've double cleansed and exfoliated. If you just give it some time, actually normally after a facial, you'll experience like really glowy skin, and then you'll start to purge anyways. And so anything that didn't want to come out during the extraction portion will end up coming out on its own anyways during the purging part. So that's me feeling if there's something under. There is, so I'm going to keep trying maybe once or twice more, and it still didn't come out, so we're just going to move on. You can see my little curls too in the camera. Okay, so now we're pushing out that congestion, any congestion that she may have out of her nose. I should have zoomed in. Oh, there we go. I did kind of zoom in a little bit. I'm trying to figure it out. Well, hopefully you guys can kind of see. Yeah, you can see it. And just know that I don't do extractions on everyone either. Just because, like, if your skin is very sensitive and, like, let's say you bruise easily or whatever may have you, like if you're turning extremely red from the little bit of pressure that I'm using, then I'll more than likely stop, because again, I'm not here to cause any trauma. But I do like to get as much out as I can. But also, you may not even need extraction. Some people, like, I know, like, we're in this extraction frenzy where everyone loves a good extraction video, and they're watching it and they're like, oh my god, that's in my skin, I want it out, right? Well, that may not be in your skin. Like, I've had some clients who I've gone to remove the congestion from their nose and nothing happens, and they're like, oh, are you gonna do my nose? And I'm like, nothing came out. Like, literally, you're dry. Like, you should probably drink water. So that's another thing too. And so now we're just cracking up, having a good time. I don't even remember what we were talking about, in all honesty. But whatever it was funny. I will say, don't try to do your own extractions at home either, because there is a very specific way that you're supposed to do extractions. And if you do them the wrong way, then you actually can cause more of a problem where you're causing the acne bacteria to spread, which will trigger more acne, right? Because you're just kind of spreading the bacteria. So please just come in for a facial. We do have very basic facials where the only thing that we focus on is the cleansing of the skin and removing any congestion. I like to call it the startup battery. I'm just here to jumpstart your skincare routine. And honestly, if that's more affordable, then I'd rather you do that and purchase your home care, because your home care is where you're going to see most of like your results from anyways. So now I'm just doing her chin, which again, not everyone has congestion or acne on their chin either. But in her case, I did see a little, so you can also kind of feel it too under the skin. She's biting her lip to help. I love a good proactive client, okay? Listen, yes, help me help you. And so yes, I am doing like a scraping motion. Again, I'm not like pressing into her skin and scraping. I'm just lightly going over it with a little bit of pressure. And again, if it doesn't come out, then I'm not going to force it. It just wasn't time. Okay, so we're done with extraction. So now I'm just going to go in with another alcohol pad, and I am disinfecting the areas where I did extractions and where stuff actually came out, because you don't want that bacteria lingering on the skin. You want to try to kill it before you move on adding more products. Okay, so now I'm adding a hydrating toner to her skin, just to help rebalance the pH of the skin after everything that we just did. There was a lot of stripping that went on. You can already kind of see like her skin's a lot happier too. I do not like the angle of this camera at all. I had a horrible position. I will definitely be sure to get a better position for my camera, so that way you guys can get like a better view, a more whole face type of view. Okay, we turned off the light. We're preparing to put the mask on her now. Oh, look at me. I forgot I even did that. It's still not really centered, but it'll work. Okay, so here I'm using the honey mask, the honey nourishing mask by Skin Script on her. This mask is very like tacky, has like a very tacky consistency, kind of like honey, like it's in the name. So the honey is really good for it's a really good antimicrobial. It's also nourishing, so we're adding some vitamins and minerals to her skin too. And no, I'm not dipping into the jar. I normally put any product on the back of my glove. That way I can just dip and go. Okay, so my favorite thing to do, this is normally when I start my massage process. I love massaging with the mask on because one, I feel like I'm pushing the mask deeper into the skin, instead of it just kind of sitting there. I mean, it penetrates either way, but the mask also gives me the ability to glide a lot better than what like some serums will do. Everyone has their own like massage technique. Mine is curated from just different things that I've picked up over time, honestly, and like that I've practiced on myself that I really liked. I try to focus on every single muscle in the face whenever I'm doing my facial massages, especially like our jaw muscles, just because I know like we use our jaw and our mouth for everything, whether we're talking, eating, chewing, drinking something. Like it's probably one of the top 3 overused muscles in our body. And so it's always under a lot of tension. It looks like I'm using a lot of pressure, but normally by this point, like certain parts of the face, I don't use any pressure, or I use very minimal pressure whenever I'm massaging. And that completes the massage portion. Comment below too and let me know what types of videos you guys want to see. Like, do you want more of an ASMR video where you can hear everything in the background? Not necessarily the conversations, just because I do believe in client confidentiality. I've created a safe space where my clients can talk to me about anything, and so you'll never actually hear our conversations, but I do have some clients who do prefer silent treatments, which is perfectly fine with me, just because it helps them relax a lot more. But you can hear like the water and like the clamor in the background. And the machines, because the machines are sometimes really loud too. Look at how much like happier and healthier her skin looks too. It's not as dry and dull as it was at first. Okay, so now we're just adding a little serum. This is going to be their vitamin C serum. Vitamin C is also really good for adding antioxidants to the skin. If you want to know what antioxidants are, please comment below. Okay, and so now here I'm just going to add the moisturizer to her skin. And we're just gonna make sure that we really press that in. So I'm using a lot more pressure than what I normally would have throughout this facial. Okay, so her last product that I'm adding is going to be her SPF. So depending on sunrise and sunset, like daylight savings time, that determines if a client gets SPF or not. Obviously, when the sun is out, I'm going to use SPF. If the sun is down, like if it's sunset, so like in the fall and winter, if it's after 5, I will not use any SPF. But if it's before 5, I will. When it's the spring and the summertime, we have longer days, so the sun doesn't set until like around 7 p.m. So you will get SPF all the way up until like around 7 p.m. Normally around 7 p.m. in the fall and summertime. In the spring and summertime, that's when I omit that step. So we are all done with this facial. I'm just adding a little lippy here to help bring it all together and sit in the facial. In the next clip over, you'll see the client's raw reaction. I had stopped recording before I could get the full like reaction, but you can see like how relaxed she instantly was. But she was so happy, y'all. Like, she was quiet. She was stuck. All she could do is just lay there and smile and just, like, she gave, like, the biggest release, like, sigh of release that I had seen ever. I mean, all of my clients normally come in and they leave, like, relaxed, refreshed, like a whole new person, but I wish I would have like caught the video of her. I had already ended the video, but I did get this little like clip, this little picture of her like relaxing, and she was so happy at the end. And this is really why I do it. Like, I love doing this work. The fact that I can pour into people and this is their reaction, like, that is so fulfilling for me. So yeah, that's it. Go ahead, comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.